This is 6 things to make a narcissist give in and kowtow to you. Have you ever wished you could turn the tables on a narcissist? Have you ever imagined a scenario where the ones who thrive on power and control, are the ones bowing down to you? It might sound impossible, but the truth is, narcissists have weaknesses, deep, hidden vulnerabilities they don't want anyone to know about. And if you know how to use these weaknesses against them, you can make them give in, surrender, and even kowtow to you. If you've ever been manipulated, gaslighted, or made to feel worthless by a narcissist, then this is the video you need to watch until the very end. Because today, I'm going to reveal 6 things that can completely break a narcissist's illusion of power, forcing them into a position where you have the upper hand. But before we dive into this, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. By spreading awareness, you help others escape the toxic cycle of narcissistic abuse and take back their power. Now let's get into it, because once you understand these 6 powerful tactics, you'll never be at the mercy of a narcissist again. The first and most powerful thing that will make a narcissist give in is indifference. Nothing breaks them more than realizing they no longer hold any significance in your life. Narcissists thrive on attention, whether it's the adoration of others, the admiration they demand, or even the negative attention they draw through anger and conflict. They need to be at the center of everything, and when they realize that you've moved on and no longer give them the time of day, it strikes at their very core. What the narcissist craves most is a reaction from you, whether that's positive or negative. For them, it's all the same. They are addicted to your energy, your emotions. They depend on you to validate their inflated sense of self. So when you stop feeding into their game, when you stop giving them any emotional reaction, whether that's love, frustration, or anger, they lose their power. You see, the worst thing you can do to a narcissist isn't to scream at them, argue with them, or even try to expose their manipulative tactics. The most devastating thing you can do is show them that they are completely irrelevant to your life. If you stop engaging with them, stop reacting to their baiting, and show them that their words and actions don't affect you in the slightest, they start to panic. Narcissists are so accustomed to controlling their environment through manipulation, charm, or creating chaos that when those methods fail, they are thrown into a state of desperation. You taking away their ability to manipulate your emotions is a blow to their ego, and that is something they cannot stand. It leaves them vulnerable, unable to regain control. They rely on your emotional responses to feel validated, and when they see that you no longer give them the satisfaction of a reaction, their sense of superiority starts to crumble. The more you withdraw, the more powerless they feel, and this panic can trigger a desperate attempt to reassert control over you. They will try anything to draw you back in, to regain the attention and emotional energy they so desperately need. But the more you remain indifferent, the more they realize that their usual tactics of guilt-tripping, provoking, or manipulating won't work anymore. When they can't get you to react or engage, their usual sense of control slips through their fingers, and they are forced to confront the reality that they are not as powerful as they once thought. This desperation is what ultimately pushes them to give in and back down. They will realize that their power over you is gone, and they'll be left scrambling to find a way to regain their grip on your life, even though they've lost the one thing that kept them going, your emotional investment. The second thing that will force a narcissist to kowtow is public exposure. Narcissists are obsessed with their image, and they invest a significant amount of time and energy into carefully constructing a persona that makes them appear charming, successful, and admirable to the world. They want to be seen as perfect by others, especially by those they want to impress. They will go to great lengths to maintain this facade, often pretending to be something they are not. They carefully curate their public life, hiding their true nature behind a polished, idealized version of themselves. To them, appearances are everything, and the validation they receive from others is what feeds their fragile ego. However, behind closed doors, the person they present to the world is a far cry from the reality of who they are. The charming, confident individual they show the world is often a mask for insecurity, manipulation, and abuse. They are skilled at hiding their flaws and projecting an image of superiority, but this image is fragile, and any threat to it is something they cannot tolerate. If you start revealing the truth about their behavior, exposing their manipulation, their lies, or their mistreatment of others, especially in front of the people they want to impress, they panic. The carefully constructed persona they've worked so hard to build begins to unravel, and they can no longer maintain their control over the narrative. This is when their desperation becomes evident. When their carefully cultivated image starts to crack, they will do anything in their power to shut you down. They will try to discredit you, smear your reputation, or intimidate you into silence. They may even try to gaslight you, accusing you of being the one who is lying or making things up. The last thing they want is for people to see them for who they truly are: manipulative, deceitful, and toxic. The fear of being exposed is one of their greatest vulnerabilities, and when it happens, they feel as though their entire world is collapsing. The narcissist will scramble to regain control of the situation, often taking defensive actions to try and protect their image. This may include begging, apologizing, or trying to convince you that they've changed, all in an effort to avoid the humiliation of being exposed. Their need to maintain their public image and control the narrative forces them into a corner, and this is when they become most desperate. They may even resort to groveling or trying to appease you, simply to prevent further exposure. In these moments, they are no longer the confident, powerful figure they appear to be. Instead, they are vulnerable and scrambling to salvage what's left of their reputation. The fear of losing their social status and the admiration of others becomes their primary concern, and this is the point at which they will often capitulate in an attempt to regain the upper hand. Public exposure is one of the most effective ways to disrupt the narcissist's control and force them to back down. The third thing that forces a narcissist to surrender is unpredictability. Narcissists thrive on control. They rely on knowing exactly how you will respond to their manipulation, so they can plan and manipulate every interaction to their advantage. They want to anticipate your moves, your emotions, and your reactions, so they can exploit them for their benefit. Control gives them power, and they feel invincible when they can predict and dictate the course of any situation. When they know they have the upper hand, they can use your emotions and reactions to keep you in check, feeding their ego with your compliance. But when you become unpredictable, when you no longer respond in the ways they expect or try to control, you throw them completely off balance. This is something narcissists absolutely cannot stand. They are used to being able to manipulate you with ease, knowing exactly how you will react to their provocations. But when they can no longer predict what you will do or say, it shatters their sense of control. One day, you're completely indifferent, not giving them the emotional response they crave. You no longer react to their attempts to bait you, and they are left confused and unsettled. The next day, you do something completely unexpected, something they never saw coming. You stop following their script, and you start calling the shots in your own life, making decisions that they can't anticipate. This unpredictability throws them into chaos. As they begin to feel powerless, they can no longer maintain the same level of influence over you. They don't know how to regain the control they once had. In their mind, they believe that their power comes from being able to predict and manipulate every situation, But when you stop playing by their rules, they are left scrambling. They become unsure of how to keep you under their control. The more unpredictable you become, the more they begin to question their ability to dominate you. And when a narcissist starts to feel out of control, they begin to weaken. This is when their facade of invulnerability starts to crack. The sense of helplessness that arises when a narcissist can't predict your actions forces them to make mistakes. They might act out, get frustrated, or even try to manipulate you in ways that are more desperate and less effective. Their usual tactics may backfire, and they may start to overstep in ways that reveal their true nature. The more they try to regain control, the more they expose themselves as insecure and vulnerable. They may even start to bend to your will, submitting to your decisions and requests just to regain some semblance of stability. The act of bending to your will is a sign that their grip on the situation is slipping, and they are no longer the all-powerful figure they once thought they were. The unpredictability you introduce into the dynamic weakens their ability to control you, and they are forced to yield in order to restore some order to their world. This is when you see them at their weakest, and it's when you truly begin to regain the upper hand. The fourth thing that forces a narcissist to submit is success. Nothing eats away at a narcissist more than seeing someone they once controlled rise above them. They want you to fail. They want you to struggle. They want you to remain trapped in the cycle of self-doubt so they can keep playing their games. But when you start thriving, when you build an incredible life without them, they hate it. They regret losing control. They regret underestimating you. And suddenly, they start trying to get back into your good graces. They start treating you with the respect they never gave you before. Not because they've changed, but because they hate seeing you outgrow them. The fifth way to make a narcissist give in is by controlling the narrative. Narcissists desperately want to control the story about what happened between you. They want to paint themselves as the hero, the victim, or the one who was always right. But when you take control of the narrative, when you refuse to let them rewrite history, when you stand your ground, when you make it clear that you know exactly who they are, they start to lose their grip. Suddenly, they realize they can't manipulate the situation in their favor. They realize they can't make you question yourself. And that forces them into a position of weakness, making them more desperate than ever. And finally, the sixth and most powerful way to make a narcissist kowtow to you is by showing them that they never broke you. This is the ultimate defeat for a narcissist. Their entire goal was to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel small, to make you depend on them. But when you show them that their manipulation failed, when you stand tall, confident, and completely unaffected by their past abuse, they crumble. Because nothing is more terrifying to a narcissist than realizing that they never had real power over you in the first place. And that's when they regret everything. That's when they start grasping for control, trying to win you back, trying to prove that they still matter. But by then, it's too late. You have already won. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're trying to figure out how to make a narcissist finally give in, keep these 6 key strategies in mind: indifference, exposure, unpredictability, success, controlling the narrative, and showing them that they never truly broke you. These are the essential tools you need to take back the control they've tried to take from you. Each of these strategies is not just a method for protecting yourself from their manipulation, but a powerful way to strip away the narcissist's power, forcing them into a position where they can no longer control you. Indifference is the first and one of the most effective ways to deal with a narcissist. They thrive on attention, whether positive or negative, and they feed off of any emotional response you give. When you show them that their actions no longer affect you, that they can no longer provoke you or stir up any kind of emotion, they are left powerless. Their need for validation becomes desperate, and you will start to see them crumble under the weight of their own insecurities. Next, exposure can work wonders in shaking their carefully crafted image. Narcissists are highly concerned with how they appear to others, often building a facade of success and charm to impress those around them. If you're able to expose their true nature to the people they care about or the public in general, it shakes their foundation. The panic they feel when their image begins to crack is a powerful tool in getting them to back off. This exposure forces them to try and regain control of the narrative, which is not an easy task for someone who has built their identity on manipulation and lies. Then, unpredictability is a tactic that keeps them guessing and destabilizes their usual control over you. Narcissists are accustomed to knowing how you will react to their tactics, and when you stop giving them predictable responses, it disorients them. You refuse to be controlled or manipulated anymore, and every time they think they have you figured out, you surprise them. That unpredictability can leave them powerless, which is a position they absolutely cannot tolerate. Another crucial strategy is your success. Narcissists feed off of the idea that others are beneath them or dependent on them. But when you show them that you can thrive and grow without them, it directly undermines their sense of superiority. They want you to be broken, to feel as though you can't live without them. But when you become stronger and more independent, it exposes their inability to truly control you. Your success becomes their failure, and that is something they can't bear. Controlling the narrative is another essential tool. Narcissists thrive on controlling the story, making sure that the world around them sees them as they wish to be seen. But when you take control of your own story, when you no longer allow them to rewrite history or manipulate the narrative in their favor, they lose their grip on you. They can't control how others perceive them if you stop allowing them to dictate your own role in the story. Finally, proving that they never truly broke you is perhaps the most powerful of all. Narcissists want to see you crumble, to see you fall apart, so they can feel validated in their cruelty. But when you rise above their tactics, when you heal and become stronger than you ever were before, you show them that they never have the power they thought they did. That strength, that resilience, sends a message that their manipulation and abuse couldn't break you. It's a victory that they can't take away. These 6 strategies, indifference, exposure, unpredictability, success, controlling the narrative, and showing that they never broke you, are the keys to taking back your power and forcing a narcissist to submit. These are the tools that will dismantle their control over you, and more importantly, these are the tools that will set you free from their toxic influence forever. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support not only helps you reclaim your own strength, but it also helps others to escape from narcissistic abuse. Together, we can break free from toxic relationships and empower ourselves to live healthier, happier lives. Stay strong, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.